This is Would Evie Drive It, a tiny little show on our channel where we let Evie judge the cars.
Would I drive a BMW M440i Convertible?
Hell if I know, but first, information explosion. Now, normally when we do these videos, I wouldn't wear sunglasses because it's so much better to connect with the audience with our eyes. But if you can't wear flying eye sunglasses during a convertible review, when can you? Flying eyes, they're great in the helicopter, but they also work on land as well.
Let's start with emotion factor.
Sweetie, are you moved by the style of the second generation BMW 4 Series convertible?
The front end demands that you look at it, which is usually a quality that I like in design. It's not my style, but I like that it's making a bold statement, so I think it's a good look.
Oftentimes the designs you like the most are the ones that are the most challenging in the beginning. By that standard, I'm going to love this design in the future. I'll also point out that I like the paint color, San Remo Green Metallic. Are you into the paint color?
The paint color is beautiful. It's green enough that it doesn't look black.
If you haven't seen my review with Derek Powell's Porsche Cayman GT4, it's in this Brewster green, and it looks almost black. It's a beautiful green, as long as you know it's green. Style aside, how do you feel driving the M440i?
Having an exceptional amount of power at my fingertips sounds like something I would hate. This is expensive and fast, and I am slow and cheap. But I really like driving this car. There's something wonderful about knowing that no matter what I ask of it, because I'm not going to ask that much, it will be able to meet my expectations.
In some regards, it's almost like the Bronco that we have ordered, where the capacity of the vehicle so exceed what we are going to ask of it. I'd never really thought about it. I thought, like, if you have all this untapped potential, that's kind of a waste. But as I'm spending more time with you, I'm realizing that untapped potential can equal confidence, and yeah. It's kind of a wonderful thing. So you had to steer to avoid a pothole.
Yes.
How did that feel?
It felt like it did exactly what I asked of it, and it did it quickly. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's prompt. On these super windy roads up here, you probably don't have a lot of opportunity to take advantage of all the power. Maybe a little bit later, we'll find somewhere open and quiet where you can try the launch control. But just meandering around here, how do you find the power?
We have some pretty substantial hills around here, and it powers right up them, which I found very reassuring.
And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but the transmission is very, very smooth just in sort of daily operation. And then it can change its demeanor when you're driving more aggressively, perhaps in one of the sportier modes, where it gives you more kind of jerky power shift style responses. So I think the transmission does a really good job adapting to the moment. By the way, not that we're going to make real great use of it, but this has the dynamic handling package as well, which includes 19-inch wheels and a variable ratio steering. And by variable, I mean that depending on speed, the amount of turns you need to move to get a certain angle out of the front tires changes. So when you're driving at very slow speeds, like say in a parking lot, even slower than this, you don't have to turn the wheel quite as far. And at higher speeds on the freeway, it's a slower ratio, so it's a little more stable. And the fact that what I'm talking about is completely transparent to you is great, because all you feel is like a natural steering feel. It's got a little bit of heft to it. Oh, and what do you think about the steering wheel and the fact that the diameter for the grip it's very like beefy?
It is super beefy, but it demands that you stay at a 9-3, which I'm sure you appreciate.
Totally, yeah. It's kind of like they designed the steering wheel with a circular bratwurst. It's just got that kind of like beefy quality. But yeah, I really like the feel of driving it. And maybe that's partially contributing to some of the joy you're experiencing.
Absolutely.
We got a brief moment, Florin. Whee! Whee! There we go.
Whee!
So what do you think? Are you feeling an emotion?
Surprisingly, yes. I'm feeling joy.
Great. Now my wife wants a BMW.
You shouldn't have let me drive this, sweetie.
All right, so emotion factor checked.
But is it family friendly?
Is this tiny 4-seat convertible family friendly?
That is tough, because I think you can make anything work as long as there are enough seats. The car seat was reasonably easy to install. Our girl really likes riding around in it, but the cargo space is so tiny.
Yeah, a maximum of 9 cubic feet, and that's with the top up. With the top down, it drops considerably. On the other hand, I will say that getting the seatbelt on our kiddo was pretty easy because there's no roof. So you just sort of step into the car.
And this is a lot easier for her to climb in because of the height than a lot of SUVs.
There are ways that if you wanted to contort your standards, you could justify this as a family-friendly vehicle. But what do we think? Is it actually family-friendly?
It is family-friendly if you are dedicated to fun.
And if you don't buy this BMW convertible, you're not dedicated to fun. Why don't you want fun? I will say from a family friendliness perspective, what's odd is that 3-zone climate control comes standard.
What?
Yeah, so they really care about the rear seat passengers. And then from a safety perspective, you've got 6 airbags and standard lane departure warning. So you've got active safety assist, but you also have pyrotechnic roll bars in the back that are not visible. So in the event of a rollover, they shoot out with explosives. I kind of want to see what that looks like, and that's great for rollover. So that kind of helps from a family perspective, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not family friendly.
Ooh, moving on to another potentially controversial subject.
Is it mountain friendly?
Now I know what you're thinking. You Muzios are going to judge this thing by your dumb mountain standards, and that's totally unreasonable. However, I think there are some elements that would make this mountain friendly.
Really?
Well, item number 1, all-wheel drive is available for $2,000.
Oh, that is helpful.
All-wheel traction, and then if you had a set of winter tires, this would actually be a pretty good ride through snowy areas like where we live.
That's really surprising.
And another thing that makes it mountain friendly, if you look behind my head here, there's a neck warmer. This is a $500 option, which means you could drive top down in blustery climates like where we live during wintertime and I guess keep your neck warm.
That is a really expensive scarf.
We actually don't know how much scarves cost. We might be using our Target standards.
That's true.
Maybe there are $500 scarves out there. Do you know about any $500 scarves? Tell us in the comments.
I wouldn't have guessed it, but I guess this thing is mountain friendly.
I love the mountains. I would agree. Moving on to my favorite segment.
Sweetie potpourri.
Moving into the potpourri, let's start with an essential element in the convertible, the soft top. It stows in about 18 seconds up to speeds of 31 miles per hour. So right now I could put it up if I wanted to, but we don't.
Why don't we want to?
Because it's so darn beautiful. Look at all the trees, and it's a wonderful mountain day.
Pretty.
I'll also mention that the previous generation 4 Series convertible had a retractable hardtop, and they switched to a soft top for this generation, which kind of feels like a step back. But by going to a soft top, it's 40% lighter, which lowers the center of gravity of the car, and it takes up less space, so you have a little, in the trunk, so you have more cargo room.
Those all seem like upgrades. And it's surprisingly quiet in here, even when the top is up.
That is an excellent observation. They put great efforts to make the top in its up position very smooth, and I can attest to that fact. We drove on the freeway yesterday, and it's really quiet in here. Yeah, honestly, a lot of the compromises that you get from a soft top don't seem present with this soft top. Did you have a chance to use the infotainment system?
I did, and I found it very perplexing. I love that you have your choice in this one between the touchscreen and this, because people who want to keep their touchscreen pristine and free from fingerprints can. But I love that you can also use the touchscreen if you're not inclined to master something like this.
Ladies' choice. So it's a standard 8.8-inch screen, and then this is the optional 10.25-inch screen. So you have plenty of screen real estate there, but I would agree that sometimes BMW's interfaces can be a little befuddling without great familiarity. Feel free to pull over.
Okay.
And we're gonna try something. Okay, we're gonna stop now, and why don't you put it in reverse? Now, we're gonna use Backup Assistant. Backup Assistant is a really cool technology where it remembers where the car has driven, and it will automatically steer you through the exact same path.
I love this so much. I have so little confidence in my ability to back up in a straight line.
So let's try it. Just back up slowly, hands off the steering wheel. We're gonna look around us, and we'll see if it does what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
Okay, I see the steering wheel turning.
Yep.
It's going to back you around here. The real test is whether we hit the thing that's directly behind us, and I'm guessing backup assistant is not going to let that happen. Yeah, it's doing a great job, right?
Yeah.
So if you were like to pull in forward in a narrow little road, you would be able to back you right out. What do you think? So convenient?
I love this feature. I wish it was on all my vehicles.
We're getting closer to having to buy a BMW.
Yes, we are.
We can't do it, sweetie. We bought a helicopter, we've got a Bronco.
You have to stop showing me all this ideal technology.
There's also a really great 360-degree camera system and automated parking features to help ease you into spots where you don't feel quite confident to get in and out of. So that's all part of a package that we would definitely have to buy if sweetie were getting a BMW. Go ahead and pull away, and I'm going to show you one more thing.
Okay.
When you come to a shady spot, I'd like you to stop.
Okay.
So if you notice, the engine is off. It actually stops before you come to a complete stop. Now slowly pull away.
Ooh.
How was the engine start-stop?
That is one of the better ones I've ever experienced.
What you're experiencing is a 48-volt mild hybrid system. So it's got an integrated like little starter motor, and it's really smooth. So, you know, in the olden days, like last year, I would always turn off the automatic engine start-stop system. This one, I would totally leave active. It does a great job. Yes, good job, car. Now, how about a little needless full throttle acceleration? Ah! Yay!
Was that a sporty good time for you since you are not behind the wheel?
I mean, no. But I'm glad you're having fun. It's not all about me, people. And now, a previously recorded thing where we did launch control.
I hope it went well.
It went well. Launch control. Everybody should experience it at least once, even sweetie. Okay, take the drive selector. Now you're in a sport mode. Hit the traction control once.
Okay.
Left foot on the brake, right foot all the way to the ground. There you go, let go of the brake.
Ah!
You got all the way up to 33 miles an hour, but you got there quickly. Launch control. You got one launch control under your belt. You don't have to go very far, but let's try it once more. So left foot on brake, right foot all the way to the bottom. Let go. Whee! There we go. Nice. You got it up to second gear, a little more speed. How'd that feel?
It felt intimidatingly fast.
But less intimidating than round one?
Yes. Well, you know, exposure therapy.
Mm-hmm. Spiders and launch control. All right, that's enough launch controlling for the day. We should also talk about the engines. So there's a base 4-cylinder engine, 255 horsepower. This is an inline 6-cylinder, and you've got more power, but it's funny because like the difference in acceleration from 0 to 60, the base engine is about 6 seconds. This more powerful engine is about 5 seconds.
I'm good either way.
You probably don't need the sportier suspension of the M440i, and you probably don't need the power of the inline 6-cylinder. So if you wanted to save 13 grand,
whoa,
you could get the lesser engine. Would you be okay with that?
Absolutely. So this is our plan, right?
Lastly, let's talk about competitors. The obvious ones would be the A5 Cabriolet or Mercedes-Benz C-Class Convertible. I think an interesting one, if you don't need back seats, would be the Porsche 718, which is a little bit more expensive in terms of base price, a little more than 60 grand. But, you know, 0 to 60 times are about 4.9 seconds, 300 horsepower, a very sporty ride, just a beautiful car. Don't get in Brewster Green, though, because people will think you just got black. If you guys have any other suggestions on what you would buy instead of this, or would you buy this, tell us in the comments. I think we've pretty well covered it. The only thing that remains, would Evie drive it? Sweetie, what do you think? BMW M440i Convertible, yes, no, maybe so?
Oh, I really thought this would be a hard pass just because I'm so afraid of going fast. I will say no, but only because if we're buying transportation that is this expensive, I want it to fly.
In the Honda Civic video, you threw out the concept of parallel timelines.
Ooh.
So
yes.
In another timeline where we have more disposable income, would that no become a yes?
Yes, it would.
Oh my God, you said that with real passion. What do you think? Is Evie crazy for saying yes in another timeline to the BMW M440i? If so, tell us in the comments. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and maybe like this one if you like this one.
Please like and subscribe. I want this car.
If you're curious what we're driving or flying between YouTube videos, give me a follow over on Instagram. And if you're curious what our family's up to, give Evie a follow. Great job, everybody. The only thing that remains is the awkward goodbye.
Bye.